of all, Dr. Yousef is not an Egyptologist. He is not a historian. Uh, he do not know how to transliterate the Medu Neter in any phases of its long history. So we're going to be discussing some race theory comments that was made by Dr. Yousef. Let's get into it.
Done by what the so-called Afrocentrist movement. The Afrocentric movement started the last century as a way, in a good intention, to teach African American about their rich history of West Africa, the great empire of Benin, of Ghana, of Songhai, the great empire of Mali. But the thing is, that's why you find people like Kevin Hart, who subscribes to these theories.
So he claims that African centered scholarship only touched on like or it within its historiography only dealt with like Sahelian cultures or Sudanic states, etc. This is hogwash, and we're going to analyze peer review data. The name of this peer review research is W.E.B. Du Bois, Ethiopia and Pan Africanism. All right. So even in W.E.B. Du Bois' time, uh, he made valid examination of Egyptian society and civilization. He was studying Egyptian civilization well before what he's saying of some type of Afrocentric, like only Afrocentric scholars will make these assertions. That is false. So let's continue. Get every word correct. Ethiopians conceive themselves to be of greater antiquity than any other nation. They affirm that the Egyptians are one of their colonies. So Du Bois is citing primary source material in 1915. He is not just uh, he is not just giving out race theory prescriptions. He is actually a scholar that is looking into uh, histories or using a method that majority of historians even use today of evaluating primary materials to find answers of a culture, to find answers of language, to find answers, direct answers at that, and hence is the name of primary materials. And he says Kevin Hart blindly prescribes. That may be, but don't blame this on Afrocentricity. I am not an Afrocentrist, but Afro-centered scholarship, as we see here, is all the way back in 1904, 1905, and these guys are serious scholars. Du Bois is a very respected, even by Europeans, a serious scholar who made huge contributions to the study of ancient Egypt and Egyptology, which is being studied to date by respected Egyptologists in the field, his work. Uh, so that right there shows me that this guy is not a historian, and we can't take that too seriously. So let's go to the next.
Who claimed that his ancestors built the pyramids. I'm sorry, your ancestors had their own wonderful civilization in West Africa. They are culture appropriating my culture, calling the people of Egypt of today, despite their skin tone.
Hmm. So he's incorrect again. You have blacks, which again I disagree with foreign chief translation. There are this the term Kasuta doesn't always translate as foreign. Actually, it can mean those of the hill countries. Uh, this is a kind of like a modern colonial trophy when they always attribute foreign. But nonetheless, this translation is accurate, and it shows that chiefs that were black from sub-Saharan African regions, so-called sub-Saharan African regions, actually assisted these people who he claimed that is his ancestors with pyramid building. The blacks actually drew the timber for them and floated. They were loaded with very large granite blocks for the pyramid, actually. So blacks assisted the Egyptians, so called, if he's trying to separate Nubians, which you can't. Nubians were actually in Tasseti, which is part of the Egyptian civilization and is the first known actually in Upper Egypt, where the civilization actually begins. And peer reviewed data shows how, uh, in primary materials, directly that blacks assisted with primary important roles in building the timber for actually the boats. So if you didn't have these boats to put the granite stone on so they can transport the boats for the pyramids may have never been constructed. So Africans, blacks, assisted with pyramid building and also built pyramids on their own. And also in West African cultures, there are actually pyramids, as we will see later on in peer review data. So, yes, according to primary materials, Nubians and various now Valley Africans, Nubians is part of the Egypto systems of Upper Kemet. Nubia is actually in Upper Kemet. So, these black Egyptians actually uh, assisted the building of pyramids. So he is wrong about that. Let's go on to the next.
The city of Gao is located midway along the Niger River basin in Africa. It was the capital of the Songhai Empire, which dominated Western Africa in the 15th and 16th centuries. Gao has been an important trading point on the Niger River since ancient times. The tomb of Songhai Emperor Askia Mohammed was built when the empire was at its peak, during Askia's reign at the end of the 15th century. The pyramid-like tomb is 17 meters tall. The wooden poles which stick out from the mud-pasted exterior are used as footholds. People use them to repair the tomb. They reapply mud every 2 years. The Songhai Empire was strong because of its wealth earned from trading. Gold was mined south of the Sahara Desert. It was carried along the Niger and exchanged for valuable rock salt from the desert. Emperor Askia tried to unite his people by adopting Islam as a national religion. A large mosque was built next to his tomb. It's said that Emperor Askia was so impressed by the pyramids he saw in Egypt on his journey to Mecca that he chose a similar structure for his own tomb. A small path leads to the interior of the tomb. No coffin was found inside. A narrow pathway leads to the top of the mound where there's a view over the whole of Gao.
Fictional character where anybody can play anything. Cleopatra came from a Macedonian Greek origin.
But yeah, she represented the Greek line. Uh, but at the same time, we don't know her skin color. She could have been very dark skinned, and for Greeks were also dark skinned. So I'm not sure why he get mad at such the roles that she playing when Greeks can be from red, light red, which is light colored European color, and they can be from dark skinned like my complexion. Okay, so I'm not sure why he's saying this. Oh, I am sure why, because he's a race theorist and he's not a historian. So let's go to peer review data and evaluate primary Greek materials of skin colors of certain Greeks. It's not exclusive to Africans, according to Greeks. They also have skin color ranging, not probably as frequent, but they have that skin color in ancient Greece. Let's read. So peer review data states, but these men of ours range from somewhat red to rather black because they have been colored and toughened up by the sun. Wow. So in the title of this, hence the title is From Greek Scythians to Black Greeks. Yes, there were Black Greeks. So a Black woman here, it wouldn't be as that off for a Black American woman or any Black woman as far as that to represent Cleopatra. And possibly she was that color. It's actually hot in Kemet and the sun is beaming. And so most likely she would have been uh probably most likely dark skinned. I mean, there are Black Greeks as we see here in peer review data. So this guy is an absolute race theory, and peer review data does not agree with anything he's saying. This guy is a moron, and he should stick to being a funny guy, a comedian. So let's continue.
No, I am sorry. African people from West Africa did not build the pyramids.
Okay.
Cleopatra did not like that, and also Jewish people do not build the pyramids.
Okay.
It is time for Hollywood to listen to the people who own that history.
Okay, so we're gonna take that back one more time. Here he's honing in on pyramids. He's like getting upset. I don't know why he thinks his people built the pyramids when he is Palestinian in origin. Uh he claims to be Egyptian, but we know that the people of the Nile Valley never called themselves Egyptian, according to peer review data. That's a modern term that we made up, and then the Greeks used it and got it from a temple and so forth. So thus for they did not call each other Egyptians. That is a name that came from the Greeks, which in turn we use it today. That is not an indigenous name. So there's actually no such thing as an Egyptian.